Let's bring in Jeffrey Park, professor of Earth and Planetary Sciences at Yale University. Professor, thank you so much for your time. First of all, what was your initial reaction to reports of this quake? I mean, did you feel it there in Connecticut?
Well, I was outside walking into my building, and as soon as I walked in, people came up to me and says, "Wait a second, there's been an earthquake." And what had happened is that people who had been sitting down had felt it here in New Haven, Connecticut, which is reasonably far from New Jersey, and they had immediately gone and downloaded data from the seismometer we have in the basement of our building, and yep, there it was. So it's been an interesting and tumultuous day.
Yeah, certainly it has, Professor. Let's kind of talk about what is next or what could be next. And of course, I'm talking about the possibility of aftershocks. What could those look like? When could the area possibly see them?
Well, you could probably have aftershocks now, and probably there'll be aftershocks that could occur over the next few days or for a few weeks. They typically will be smaller than the main earthquake. It's possible that it could be as large or larger, but usually unlikely. And also with earthquakes of this kind on the East Coast, they typically don't have a lot of aftershocks, unlike the earthquakes that would occur in the very active fault zones in the western United States.
Well, that's certainly a good thing. Are you
Yes,
surprised
yes,
that we haven't seen any injuries? There's been no major damage reported, especially, when we are talking about a city, about an area, a region really that is obviously very old. And then we're talking about a 4.8 magnitude.
4.8 magnitude is not a very large earthquake, but if you're close to it, it can do a lot of shaking. Some of the people on the scene were reporting that. If this earthquake of this size had occurred in New York City, there would be damage, much more damage. Maybe not deaths, but perhaps some injuries.
And we know that this isn't common, but it does happen. And obviously, we're used to hearing about it more along the West Coast. We know it can happen on the East Coast. Saw it just this morning. Explain why that is.
Well, we're in an area of the Earth, the planet, in which we're in the middle of the North American plate. We're at the coastline, but there's no active boundary between two giant tectonic plates nearby here. So there's no grinding motion of large tectonic plates on the East Coast that would generate earthquakes with the same frequency and size that you see on the Western United States, where the Pacific plate and the North American plate will meet and grind up against each other along the San Andreas Fault.
So, Professor, I also want to talk about, again, what is happening next. We saw this morning's earthquake there on the East Coast. What are professors, what are scientists going to be looking for after this morning's event?
Well, for a lot of it, we're going to be kind of recalculating what the seismicity of the Northeast is, the New York area. The earthquake today was kind of identified to be associated with what's called the Ramapo fault system. This is a very, very old fault system, hundreds of millions of years old, and it's not really very active, but it's still a zone of weakness that responds to stresses in the crust. In 1985, there was a magnitude 4 earthquake on a different part of the Ramapo fault system, closer to the New York state line, that actually inspired a lot of changes in the building codes for the tri-state area and the East Coast in general.
And Professor, before we let you go, there are people wondering, obviously we know that there is an eclipse happening on Monday and people trying to connect the two. I have read that there is absolutely no connection. Can you confirm that for us, Professor?
There's not a connection between the two.
All right, well, there it is. We just heard it from Yale professor Jeffrey Park. Thank you so much for your time. Glad you and everyone is okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.